there's something about the past that I've been working on with that over some time, whereas if people have problems in the past that they haven't yet addressed.
Sure.
Something that I found useful, and I say you may come up with some better ways of doing it, but something I found useful, and I know even as I explain it, a bit of my brain goes, Mike, what planet are you on? But it still works because there is something in my brain that says our future self is quite wise because it's got all through the problems in the future and it's survived and it's happy. And therefore, actually having a good relationship with our future self is really useful, just as like having a good relationship with our past self is really useful. But I've actually get them to do a technique where they connect with their future selves. As their future selves, they then go back and coach their past self before they've had any challenges, and they've then flip position into their past selves with that new learning and run through the challenges and thus remove some very complicated blocks.
Yep.
And I think,
the way to describe that, I mean, you're doing it just right. Is, you know, we tell people the following things. Boy, if I knew then what I know now,
yes,
my life would be different. Well, go back and teach it to yourself.
No, that's exactly. I know it sounds stupid.
No, it works.
But some of these things are amazingly effective.
Yeah, we have. I couldn't do it here. It takes a little bit of time, but we have a way of someone has, especially entrepreneurs. You know, they make these crazy decisions, and something didn't work out real well, but they let it affect them.
Yes.
So well, let's go back and change that decision. It's in the past, and change not only the decision, but change the way that that decision has affected you from that moment all the way up to the present time. And then we can go test it in the future. Because since you've already changed that one in the past and it's changed what happened in the past, right? Because you went back and you taught yourself. I mean, that's basically what we're doing. Then we test it. Yeah, then we test it. And if it goes, yep, well, that's good. I'm good now. Great. Now let's go to the future and run it through the future.
No, absolutely. And that's, as I say, some bit of my brain goes, this is unbelievable. But another bit of my brain, luckily I can dissociate from that. But I find learning to play with time can be amazingly powerful. It's explorations of the past, the present, the future, whether you're in time, whether you're by the side of time. It gives you different perspectives and it gives you different ways of looking at things, and it gives you different answers and different emotions and stuff.
You asked me how the third part of, you know, what are the third important part? Listen to yourself, because you're describing when you speak even to yourself, you're describing what's going on inside your brain. It's very easy to understand. Okay, if I said to each one of you at the moment, if I said, think about something you've been wanting to do for quite a while now anyway, but you just haven't gotten to do it yet, in your mind, or even out here like this, point to where that is. And you're going to point in front of you somewhere. And my next question is going to be, can you touch it without moving your body? Can you touch that event? 90% of the time or more, you're going to say no. I go, there's a statement for that you would get. I just plant it in your head because it's, you know, whether you have it in this format or not, is what you would say. It's just out of reach. And as long as it's just out of reach in your mind, you're going to keep that event out there someplace, and it's not going to get close enough for you to do something about it. As weird as that sounds, that's what happens. So you can take that event and do exactly what Michael just explained. You would take that event, move it closer to you, go back, do it in the. Remember, it's always easier to do something the second time, and you can actually then watch how it moves closer. You don't have to. You can even just move it closer and see if it stays there. Sometimes it goes back. That means you got to do something else to fix it up. You know, you got to learn something else. Maybe you're missing about a strategy for how to accomplish that thing. Maybe it's just a fear. You know, I ask people all the time things like, you know, you're in business. I go, how many of you would just love to be able to tell your boss something, but you dare not? And they go, oh yeah, that's on my list. I go, you can do it, but now you might need a way of doing it that's not offensive to the person. Absolutely. But let's pick a way of describing it to the boss in a way that's not offensive, and let's practice that. Now let's go to having already done it. Look back to the present and look at what you did to get there. Now let's go back to your present moment, boom, and look at the future. You're going to do it? And they go, yeah. And they do. But they understand they have to be, you You know, you can't just go in and tell the guy, you know, you can't call him names, you know. Calling your boss an asshole is not feedback.
No. However, I think you've got over something that's really useful about NLP. It's being able to look for different perspectives. It doesn't mean that everything is right. You still have to work out how to do it.
Sure.
But it gives you more information to look at different ways of doing it, so you can choose the best one.
Choices. People ask me, what got me into this NLP thing? I say, I realized I had choices. I didn't know I had, number one, I didn't know I had choices. And number two, because they go, well, that's you. Okay, so I'm stuck with me. All right, I'm fine. When I realized I had choices, then I had to figure out where am I going to find those choices.
No, I think there is a huge key in this. That one of the things about exploring this stuff is that it gives you flexibility and it gives you options and it gives you choices.